Hi all, Plantside Agent here. Today we're going to take a look at the BCB Crusader MK2 cook set. So if you're interested, stay tuned. Okay, let's get started. I've been looking at these for many years, and when I first saw them, I went out to look at getting one, and they're all pretty expensive. They're running around the $80 mark, and shipping was going to be around $25, so that was just a little too rich for my blood. So anyway, and every so often I'd go back out, to the internet and see what I could find, and they are all staying about that same price. Unfortunately, these are all coming from the UK or Europe somewhere. I've never found or come across a US distributor of this, which I would think it would make it a little bit cheaper. At least, they could get the freight costs down. But anyway, so yeah, I check every so often, and never really came down. Well, about a month ago on Facebook, I got an ad from this company, I think it's in the UK, called Gomilitar, and I'll leave a link to that in the description. And so I go, well, let's see what they're offering. So I clicked on it, and by golly, the basic set here, which I got, was around $42, and I go, well, that's reasonable. And then let's say if shipping's going to kill me, so I went out and checked on the shipping, and it was $12. I go, well, that's in the ballpark of about anything I can get around here, like say the Pathfinder, a canteen cook set, or the other one, the water bottle one. So I went ahead and pulled the trigger and got it. So. And I just got it in a couple of days ago, so I thought I'd go ahead and make a video and show you my take on it and what I found out. So if you haven't seen videos on this, well, I'm going to cover it anyway, even if you have seen the videos. I've seen dozens of videos on this, and some are pretty good, probably better than mine. But anyway, here's my take on it. So for starters, you get this plastic cup, which is pretty nice. It's real thick, heavy. Got butterfly handles on it, so it's a pretty solid cup. And this thing practically holds. I don't know what the specs on it say, but I think the practical volume on this would be about 600 milliliters, which would give it about here, and that'd give you a little bit of slop, because you don't ever want to go right up to the very tip, because it's going to slop over. So I'd say the practical size of this is 600, which is that's over 2 cups, so that's pretty hefty. Next is and this fits over the top. Now next comes the canteen, and this is again plastic, but pretty heavy duty plastic. So it's probably comparable to the plastic canteens that the U.S. Army issues. Anyway, and it has these little nips on here, I think, to keep the lid secure, although it's really not that snug. It's pretty loose. It'd probably keep it from rattling, but it doesn't hold it in, so just be aware of that. Maybe this could be a variation, just manufacturing variation for mine. Others might be different, but anyway, it's not a big deal. So just, when you pull it off, just be careful you don't have the cup fly off on you. So, and this thing holds a liter of water. Okay, next comes the canteen cup, and this is made from hard anodized aluminum. They rate it as a liter, but in all practicality, I filled it up with water, and up to this line right here, which gives you a little bit of space here for slop, is 900 milliliters. So practical 900 milliliters. It does have 2 marks on it. It says 0.25, and I found that was closer to maybe 300 milliliters, and this 0.5 was probably, it was around 500-600 milliliters. So they're not precise, but close enough for guessing on. So that's pretty nice. Comes with butterfly handles. They kind of have that lock on them. Pretty much standard. So not too bad. And then comes the stove, and it's pretty nice. It's also made of hard anodized aluminum, and in the bottom of it has this little slot that you can put your well, it'll fit a Trangia. It'll fit a 2-ounce. I'll show you all that in a little bit. A 2-ounce aluminum cosmetic tin. Also, I think these are originally designed for what they call their Fire Dragon liquid fuel, which is just a gelled alcohol, and it has this little ring in here that would contain it so it doesn't slop all over the place and burns off. Or you can also use Esbit type solid fuel tablets in it also. And then it has this pot stand or leveler that flips over and holds it, and then the cup fits right in there just fine. So one of the things I was kind of curious about, I thought when I first got it that this pot would actually nest deeper into the and you know, you could do it. It could go all the way up to here, but this is just a little snug. If you notice that the pot comes down and then tapers in to fit into here, so what you got, there's quite a bit of gap between the bottom of the pot and here, so that's a lot of wasted space. I don't know why they didn't design it so it would set all the way down. Now that has plus and minuses. The minus part is this makes this pretty tall. When it's all put together, you're looking at it's about 11 inches from here to here. So I don't know if you can tell, but that's there's my hand. This is a pretty tall unit. While I'm on it, being a tall unit like this, when I looked at it, they had different combinations of how they sold this. Some with a carrying bag, some with I think some even had a lid, some had a carry bag, and I decided I just would go the cheapest, especially since I wasn't too sure how keen I'd be on it. I wanted to keep my investment to a minimum. So I went ahead and I got it here, and then I have a lot of different bags and stuff, you know, different kinds of molly bags, and nothing I have will fit this. And I started going around looking for something that I could put it in. I thought about ordering the bag from these guys, but looking at cost and shipping, it really didn't want to go with the bag that came with it. So I thought, let me see if I can find a cheaper alternative, because it's just a bag. It just has to be close. So I did find one on eBay, and I'll put a link to that. And here's a little picture of it. It's a Marine Corps water bladder bag, and it's a little bit taller. I think it was 15 inches by 9 and something. So this should fit in it nicely. I could add some extra stuff to it. So, and it was $10 with free shipping. So that's pretty good. So anyway, but if you're really interested in getting this, I would go. I think this one was. Did I say 40? Yeah, I didn't tell you how much. I think I paid $42 for this, $12 in shipping. I think I already said that, which is reasonable. They have another kit that is $55, $56 dollars, but it comes with a fire steel and also a bag designed for this. So that would probably be the better option. I mean, you're only talking what, $13 for the bag, which isn't bad. So and then you have one that actually fits the kit. So that's another option. I'm going to put links to their website for both of these, both the options, so you can go out and take a look at them. But anyway, so as I was going back, well, let me go back to bags. One of the things about why you'd want a bag is these handles and all just kind of flop around a little bit. So and also want to fall out. So if you're just going to like slide this into your backpack, you know, it's harder to get out and all that stuff. So kind of nice to have a bag and all contained. Then, like, so you can add some other stuff to that bag and kind of make it a complete cooking kit. So yeah, this kind of flops down. I was wondering just when I was playing with this if this would work. Nope. I thought maybe I could set the handles through this, and then that would keep this from flopping around. But of course, you could always throw a rubber band or something around it. I mean, there's other solutions to this problem, or some sort of a strap. But that's just some initial thoughts on this. Okay, moving on. Let's see. Now we were talking about this gap in here, which it increases, probably increases the height by 1.5 inches or so. But then again, it will hold other stoves or burners. So just to show you, here's the Trangia, and it fits perfectly in there. So so you can put this back on, and you can store your Trangia burner in the bottom of it. That's a plus. And then when you do that, you have that, with that extra room in there, you can add some extra stuff. Say, a lighter. Say, here's you could throw a scrub sponge in there, and you could also stuff in this is a microfiber rag I just cut out, and it'll fit back in there. So you can add some extra stuff into the kit and still pack it all together. Oops. If you do it the right way. Turn this one sideways. There we go. There you go. So you can actually carry your stove and stuff as part of the whole kit, which is good. So now you got more of a complete kit, everything you need to go. Now, and the nice thing with the Trangia, you can store a couple ounces in here, which is a couple of burns, and then you can go ahead and carry an extra fuel bottle if you're going to be out more than a couple of boils. So that's one of the nice things. Myself, I'm not a big, well, I've noticed I thought I'd just kind of play around with that fire gel to see how it worked. Well, to get the stuff, I haven't looked hard enough to find if there's an American supplier, but the stuff that BCB makes is actually pretty darn spendy. Each one, $1 or so a burn. And let me tell you, you can get heat and other alcohols a lot cheaper, and just use this. Or another thing I was looking at, I'm going, well, this is pretty tall. If I got something a lower profile, I could actually get a little more room in here for storing stuff. So I was wondering, I have these 2-ounce, they call them cosmetic tins, but you can find these all over eBay. Order them anywhere from 5, 10, a gross, whatever you want, different sizes. They're just aluminum tins. And I decided to make a burner out of it. I've made burners out of this size, and I've also got burners out of the 1 ounce. And just a side note, recently I got one for a 1/2 ounce, which I'll cover in another video down the road. But anyway, so I thought, well, I wonder how this would work. So I went ahead and coiled up some carbon felt, put it in there, and of course this also fits perfectly in that little ring in the bottom of the stove. And I actually did a test burn on this, and it worked great. Which, by the way, if you notice on the thumbnail and the description, I said this is going to be part 1. Well, I'm going to do a part 2. Next video, I'm actually going to do some boil tests with the Trangia and with this, just to show you how that works. Probably not going to do gel, since I don't have any of that. And I got some solid fuel, but I'm not going to do that either, because it stinks and it leaves the bottom of the pot gummed up. So not a fan. I like solid fuel. It's good for an emergency stove, where because you don't have to worry about evaporation or going bad or whatever. They'll last forever. They're compact, so for an emergency kit, solid fuel is great. But for everyday use, no, I don't really like it. I used to carry it all the time, but I carried it more for as an emergency fire starter than to actually cook with it. But anyway, let's see. Now I got myself off track. But anyway, I'm going to do some boil tests on this. The one thing I'm kind of concerned with, let me show you this. Now with this set up like this, you're going to get about the right height. Alcohol burners, the sweet spot's around inch and a quarter or so. That's 1.25 inches plus or minus 1/4 is your sweet spot for the best performance. Now this one, you're looking at about right at 1.5 inches. So this, with this 2-ounce tin, and the distance between the bottom of the pot and this is right around 1.5 inches, which is perfect. And it did boil pretty quick on my test boil. I mean, it was, what was my test one? That was around 6 minutes or so, which is very good for alcohol burners. So anyway, but I'm going to do a separate burn test, and if you're interested in seeing how all that works out and the times and yada yada yada. Now with the Trangia, it obviously sets a lot higher than the 2-ounce tin. So you're going to be the actual flame is going to be a little bit closer to the pot, which is going to be outside of your sweet spot. Got to be careful. I do have a little fuel in here. So if I put this down on inside, put down the pot stand and and measure it, you're looking at more. Let's pick this up without spilling it. You're looking at, there we go. If I can get the right light on this thing. It's about 3/4 of an inch, so it's about the minimal that you want to get. Also, I don't know, I guess it'll spread out. One thing I was concerned about is, well, let me quit jumping around. So this is going to be a little closer, so I'm curious of how this will perform. So that's why in the next video, I'm going to go ahead and do a couple of burn tests, and we'll compare the Trangia versus the 2-ounce tin stove. And the reason I ran a quick burn test on this before I did the video, I think I played with it a couple days ago, was that I wasn't too sure how the airflow would work, so it wouldn't smother or hamper the burn, because as you can see, it's a pretty tight fit. I mean, plenty of ventilation on the bottom to pull air in, but to dissipate heat. But there's a little bit of gap here. Maybe you can show you that there. Plus, the heat and all can come around these holes here and up and around the pot. And like I said, I did the test burn with this one, and it worked just fine, no problem. I assume that the Trangia will also work just fine, but probably won't be as efficient if I could get that 1.5 inch, 1.25 inch sweet spot. But we'll see when we do the burn. So if you're really curious, just stay tuned for that. I don't know when I'm going to get to that, maybe in the next couple of days. Okay, now I remember one other thing I wanted to comment. Like I said, I could store, at least with the 2-ounce tin, since it has a lower profile, and I think performance is going to be as good as the Trangia, maybe better. Anyway, it will, since this one carries 2 ounces of fuel, where this one, actually you could store fuel in this, and I found, like, here's a 2-ounce flat bottle. I don't know if they make a 1 ounce or not, but this one's got it's a flat one, and this will actually, you can set it in here on top and hope it doesn't leak on top of this, and then when you put the pot will still nest down in there. There's room, so you have enough room to carry a little bit of fuel. If you look around, find the right flat fuel bottle or buy one. So there's enough room in there, probably more so than a lot of things. So you can do a lot to kind of keep your kit all together. Like I said, I like to keep all my stuff as much as I can all in one place, because it's less likely to lose it, displace it. Just nice to have everything contained. That's me. But you do you. So anyway, now I can't think of anything else to say. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.